episode of the NBA Outlet Preview Series presented by OTGBasketball.com. Be sure to follow OTG on Twitter at OTGBasketball. I'm your host, Nick Fay. With us tonight, special guest, OTG writer, Mohammed Ba. What's up, Mohammed?
What's going on, Nick? How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm excited for this podcast. And with us, as always, Harris Wichard. How you doing tonight,
What's
Harris?
up, Nick and Mohammed? Really appreciate you joining us tonight as we look at the ninth rated team in our power rankings.
Right.
According to our writers, of course, I don't know if I'm going to agree with this one, but ninth, the Mohammed's team, the Memphis Grizzlies.
The Grizz are coming in at number 9. They're coming bouncing back from a rough season. They had a ton of injuries. One of the most injured seasons in NBA history. I think at one point they had signed like 20 plus players at a point in the season. So tough to deal with. I'll let you start, Mohammed. What do you think about this number 9 ranking for your Grizzlies?
So I think that the Grizzlies should actually be higher. And here's why I think they should be higher. You should realize that last season, the Grizzlies had like a ton of injuries on our team. You mentioned it earlier, but we signed almost like 20 people. I think it was almost 30 to be exact. So with all of our injuries that we had, I believe we were the 7th seed and we had to play the Spurs in the first round. And what I love the most about our team last year was how Zach Randolph, I love Zach now because he literally took over every single game in the postseason, even though we got swept. But Zach was aggressive. He played his heart out. And had we had Gasol and Conley, we could have make some serious noise. So as we start this year off, we have a new coach, ex-Heat assistant David Fizdale, and we got our guys back. But most importantly, we have a bunch of new players, DJ Stephenson on our team. And, if we continue to play consistently, I believe that the Grizzlies, no doubt, they could probably beat the Warriors. And I said it, and I'm going to say it again, where we have the matchup the most with Golden State is the bigs. We have Zach, who's not going to start, but I feel like he should. We have JaMychal Green, but most importantly, we have Marc Gasol down low. And if we can hit Golden State down low, we have a perfect shot.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, I'll let you go, Harris, because I know the Warriors are close to your heart.
No, it's not the Warriors are close to my heart. Everybody knows I'm a big Steph.
Steph Curry.
Yeah, everybody knows I'm a big Steph Curry. But listen, this is a team that in 2015 had the Warriors up 2-1 with Game 4 at their place. So I know and they won 55 games that year. So I know what the Grizzlies are capable of. I've always been concerned about them getting enough offense because we know about the grindhouse, we know about their half-court defense. We know about Zach Randolph and Gasol and how they play off each other, even though Randolph can't jump over a textbook, and he'll tell you that. But, I really like this Memphis team. I do. I really have nothing against them. I've always been concerned about them offensively getting over the top, and now they give Mike Conley – listen, Nick, as soon as Conley got this deal, I started working out harder. Because Mike Conley's a good player. Don't get me wrong, but that's a ton of money. So, and I know that –
I agree with.
Yeah,
overpaid. I agree with.
I like this team. I do. It's a very tough place to go in and play on the road. They still have Tony Allen, who's a great defender, as he would tell you, first team. He's screaming that first team thing. Vince Carter coming back for his 19th year. There's a lot to like here. There is a lot to like. I think as we go forward and look at our predictions, they'll definitely have a better year than 42-40. But you could tell me more about their offense and how they're going to open things up. But in today's NBA, you can't score 95 points a game and win. So you can maybe tell me a little bit more, Nick, a little bit more about what they're going to do offensively this year.
Yeah, well, they did pick up Chandler Parsons. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But before we move on, Harris, you agree with the number 9 ranking, or you think it's too high, too low?
It's right there. I think it's right there. I mean, to go a little bit higher than that to start would be tough. Now, I think a couple months into the year, they could be the 7th, 6th, 5th best team in the league. You don't know. They could turn it into a 55, 57, 58 win. I mean, I'll make my prediction later, but I think it's fair for now. For now, it's fair.
Right.
Yeah.
Mike Conley's coming back from Achilles injury, which is always tough. It's probably one of the toughest injuries out there.
Absolutely.
Moving on to the offseason, you mentioned it before, they picked up David Fizdale as the new head coach.
Yep.
What do you think about this signing? How do you think he's going to help the team? What do you know about David Fizdale?
Well, I think Fizdale was probably a great pick for numerous reasons. One, he's coached champions in his Heat days, Bosh, Whiteside, Wade, LeBron. I mean, he his resume basically speaks for himself. But I believe that Fizdale, he can most importantly help out Gasol the most because Fizdale, he's had a lot of success with bigs, Bosh, Haslam, and especially Hassan Whiteside. So David Fizdale is important. But another thing that I want to add is he preaches defense. And not that the Grizzlies really need it, but they could certainly use it in some areas. Like, for example, last season, we know Mike Conley was down. We could not guard Steph and Dame and all those other superstars in the league. So with him being there, it adds another sense of like, hey, we need to get this done. Conley has to step up on defense. He's going to make sure Gasol plays defense as well. And, yeah, that's all. That's basically about it. I think it was a great hire for the Grizzlies, definitely.
Yeah, I think, one thing he brings that championship experience.
Right.
You can't replace that. The Grizzlies, they haven't gotten past that hump yet. They haven't got to the finals. So, and it kind of changes up. I was kind of surprised they let go of Dave Yeager, though, because that guy, he left his heart out there. He was emotional when they lost that series to the Spurs in the first round, even though they had no chance. But you saw a side of him that you definitely could appreciate as a fan and as a player.
Sure.
Yeah, I wanted to touch on the history of this team for the last 6 years because this is very interesting to me. And I don't know if we've ever seen something like this. This is a team that has not had a losing season since 2010 and has now had their third different head coach. They made the conference finals in 2013, and they've kind of been right there every year with this. And I told you about their offense that I've had concerns about. But this is a team that went from 2007 to 2010 with 22, 24 win seasons and was really struggling, and now has been there. They've been right there. But why have they failed, you think, Muhammad, mostly to get over the hump?
Well, I believe that in the past, one of the Grizzlies' big problems, you probably mentioned already, was offense. The Grizzlies, honestly, they have had a history of having terrible offense, and they relied mostly on their defense, which is why I know we're going to mention it later, but I'll hit on it now. But the Parsons addition is huge. We finally now have a shooter, and when our bigs are getting double teamed down low, we could not pass it to Chandler Parsons. He's extremely versatile. He can guard multiple positions, and he can score on multiple positions as well. So Parsons being there, we have another scorer on our team. We have another defender on our team, and he can certainly help us out a lot.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think Parsons definitely helps. It's something that they definitely needed, that wing position. They had Rudy Gay back in the day. He kind of never lived up to expectations. After him, I think they had Jeff Green for a bit.
Yep.
But so Parsons, if he can stay healthy, that's the thing with Chandler Parsons.
Right.
Like I can't remember the last time he played a full season.
Sure.
He hasn't.
Yeah, he hasn't, and he's missing big playoff series. So, if he's not there in the playoffs, he's not worth signing that big contract for.
That's so true. Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, and I think they looked at Connolly's plus minus and his impact on their team because when he missed games, they really struggled. He's the floor general of a 50-win plus team. So the contract can be criticized, but with the salary cap going up and the TV contracts in the NBA, they felt like they needed him there to win a championship, and they're probably right.
Yeah, if they didn't sign him for that contract, there's a few other teams that are going to, give him their max. So, it didn't really matter. People, when you don't understand the salary cap as much, you're more critical of the move. But, when you understand the salary cap, you're like, well, they kind of had to do it. They had no choice. And with the cap going up.
The way I define Mike Conley, Muhammad, you could correct me if I'm wrong, he's not amazing at anything. He's just solid at everything.
Yeah, right. I'm not going to say Mike Conley is a superstar, but he can certainly get to that level. He really can. He has an amazing upside. Mike Conley, he can shoot, he can pass, he can defend. But the thing with him, he's not like flashy like these other players are. Yeah, he's more like an old school, do the dirty work type deal. That's his style of play.
Yeah, he could probably be a little bit more aggressive, but I think that also fits into the system that they play. He's been feeding Gasol and Randolph the ball in the post, and that doesn't really earn you many assists. But moving on from that, talking about their offseason, they did have a draft pick. They drafted Deontay Davis out of Michigan State. What do you think about Deontay Davis?
They also signed DJ Stephenson as well. Stephenson, I don't know if you guys know him or not. He went to Memphis, and I saw him play. Fantastic player. He's extremely athletic. He reminds me kind of like a young Vince Carter. Like this kid can like dunk from the free throw line. He is outstanding. He can also help him out as well. And we also signed James Ennis as well. Ennis used to play for the Heat. He can shoot that ball like crazy. And, I believe that we had a good off season. I believe that we really did. We hit a lot of key areas on our team. And I believe that, we got the job done actually.
You guys also drafted Wade Baldwin out of Vanderbilt and did a sign and trade for Troy Daniels. So, there's definitely a youth movement. You can see they're trying to add some young pieces, switching things up. And because the guys they let go of, Chris Anderson, Matt Barnes, Bryce Cotton, PJ Harrison, Lance Stephenson, Tony Rowan. So who do you think they're going to miss the most, and who are you happy they let go of?
I believe the person they're going to miss the most is probably Lance. Lance is back in his Indiana days, he was a flat-out beast. But the thing with Lance is, Lance never lived up to his potential, in my opinion. I mean, after that series against the Heat, he kind of just fell off from there. But Lance is a great ball handler. He could score, and the Grizzlies could always use scoring the most. But I don't believe they're going to miss Matt Barnes at all. Matt Barnes, he was kind of streaky. He had his moments, but, that's Matt Barnes. That's what makes him who he is. And he could shoot the ball, but last season he wasn't consistent at all, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think he's not, part of the future direction they're trying to get, and they kind of wanted to upgrade that small forward spot, and they did with Chandler Parsons.
Here's why I'm high on a couple of the guys you spoke about, and we look at veterans too. So if Carter's coming back for his 19th year, and Randall's coming back for his 16th year, these are two guys that have a lot of experience and wisdom to give to these younger guys, and they're going to be with them on the road, and the way the team builds camaraderie and really builds chemistry going forward is a lot about what your older players are like, and Nick knows this from the Garnett and Pierce guys trying to do this to some of these younger net players. It's going to be real important to see how these younger guys develop, because those guys are on their way out. Randolph's got probably a couple years left. Carter's this is his last season, Carter, right? Is that what he's saying? Yeah. So it's important for those guys to play that role, and I think if they do that successfully, you could see the Memphis make a strong push toward the top of the West.
Yeah, and like you said, they're at the end of the career. They definitely want to get some more playoff wins under their belt. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Vince, though. I love that guy. He was great. Great in New Jersey. Really appreciate him. And I think a lot of people, if you told them back then Vince would still be playing now, they'd be super surprised because of how much he relied on his athleticism.
Yeah.
But now he's a great basketball player. He's able to take care
of his body. Yep.
I'll hold back a little bit here because I do like Vince, but his defense could be is not to be really preached about.
Yeah, no, he always could have been a better defender. Especially the athlete he was. When you're that athletic, you could always be an elite defender. He showed flashes. He just, he wasn't consistent.
Well, when you have to score 25 a night, it's not easy.
Exactly. Ask James Harden.
Yeah. All right, what do you got for us?
But next, who on this Grizzlies team, if they're gonna have a big year, needs to step up?
Right. Who needs to step up the most?
Yeah, who needs to have the biggest year? They need to step up.
I'll say Mike Conley. I mean, after that contract that he had, everybody's gonna expect Mike Conley to have a monster year, and he certainly has to live up to that contract. I mean, they didn't just give it to him for nothing. He kind of earned it, but at the same time, Mike Conley now has a lot of pressure on his hands now. I mean, he has immense pressure because, again, that contract he signed, that's basically saying he's the best player in the NBA. And we all know Mike Conley is nowhere near that level. But he definitely needs to step up.
Yeah, no, Conley, I could see that, especially with that contract.
Yeah.
For me, I'm going to go with Chandler Parsons because, I think he signed a big contract. He hasn't really played much, and they need that scoring option. This is going to be an opportunity for him to, possibly be the top perimeter scorer on this team, with Conley more as the playmaking.
Yeah.
He needs to have a big year and stay healthy because they really need him if they want to make any type of noise in the West. What about you, Harris?
I'll make the argument that Marc Gasol is the best center in basketball, and I say that because I don't consider Cousins to be a center. And I think that Marc Gasol, he started in the All-Star game in 15, and played 81 games. So if Gasol could return to his 2015 form, This is going to be a formidable Memphis group. He's a phenomenal passer for his size and plays a lot like his brother does. So All-NBA first team in 2015, a defensive player of the year. This is a guy that if he returns to that kind of form, plays 75-plus games, Memphis is going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, he didn't look the same last season for some reason. I just wasn't getting that vibe from him because before the season, I know a lot of people talked about him being, top 3, top 5 centers. At the end of the season, not as much mentioned about that. I think he could really have a bounce back year, especially if Parsons is there, kind of opens up the offense more if he stays healthy.
And that's his problem. He definitely does need to stay healthy this year because we're going to need him if we're going to make a deep run into the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially in the West. But this Grizzly team going to be better or worse this season?
Oh, better. Absolutely better. With all of the talent that we acquired this year, we're definitely going to be better. New coach, new system, new players. Our star point guard got his money. Randolph is going to come off the bench, so he's going to be a 6-man, so he's going to lead off the bench for a while. Gasol's coming back 100%. Oh, we're definitely going to be better. I think we might win more than 60 games this year, hopefully. I'm calling it. We're going to win more than 60 games this year.
This is and I love the enthusiasm and optimism of the writers we bring on for their teams. I think the writer Corey said that the Pacers might win 60. So if everybody never wins 60, we could have a good year. No, I actually agree with this one. I don't know about 60. I'm going to make my prediction in a second, but they're going to be definitely better than 42 and 40. The only two teams that I could guarantee you that are going to be better in the West are the Warriors and Spurs. To me. After that, the Clippers, Thunder, Grizzlies, those guys are all in that same category. The third seed to me is up for grabs. And even maybe the 2, the Spurs, maybe I would think that they could battle with the Spurs, but I think the Warriors will be better. But I'll put my number on in a bit, but I definitely know they'll be better than 42 and 40, Nick.
Yeah, I think it's pretty easy for them to be better with the talent they have, as long as they can stay relatively healthy. I probably have the Clippers locked into the top 3, though.
Ooh.
Because, they've been able to be pretty successful with the injuries they've had. Just think about all the games Blake missed last year.
Yeah.
Right. The thing with the Clippers, they're like the best team on paper. The Clippers are – look.
Well, they're not better than the Warriors on paper.
Right. Every year they say they're going to make a deep playoff run, but they always get out in the second round. And sometimes it's not their fault. Like last year, Paul got hurt, Griffin got hurt. They're just unfortunate.
Yeah, it's tough for that team. I feel like they're so capped out, too, is that they need to add one more piece, but they just can't.
The biggest surprise to me in the NBA since 2000 and when did these guys get in? Paul, Wade, LeBron? 2004, right?
LeBron got in 2003.
Right. Paul was like a couple years later.
In 2004 or 5.
Right. So the biggest surprise in the last – Paul has never played in the conference final.
Right.
That's to me – like Chris Paul is one of the best guards we've seen in this league in 20 years. And he's never played in the conference final. That's a big red flag. So I like Memphis to finish right near them, maybe above them. But I'm tired of that whole narrative in L.A. with Griffin and Jordan can't shoot free throws down the stretch. These guys are – in today's NBA, these guys are becoming extinct. And Griffin can't shoot the 3 and Jordan can't make a free throw. And I know I don't want to get on the Clippers, but I like Memphis' team better than the Clippers this year.
Disagree on that. Well, I guess we'll talk about that in the Clipper episode. Yeah. But final prediction for the Memphis Grizzlies.
Final prediction, they're going to be the 3rd seed in the West, and they're going to lose in the conference finals to Golden State.
I'm going to go with probably a 5 or 4 seed, and I'll probably have them getting knocked out in the second round. What about you, Harris?
4th seed. I know I talk about the Clippers and stuff, but, 3 or 4 depends on the injuries and stuff, but 3 or 4. And the second round loss to Golden State. I know I said they could beat a 3, but I need to see a little bit more. I would say 55 wins, 55, 56 wins, and just not enough offense to get over the top. But this is going to be a fun team to watch. I think a little bit more exciting than usual, and hopefully they get out and transition a little bit more. But again, the NBA is becoming a spacing game like we spoke about.
Yeah,
and this team's got to stretch it out. Randolph's got to knock down his 20-footers.
Yeah,
Gasol's got to pass from the top of the key, and they got to get some more athleticism on the wings, like you mentioned, Mohammed. But this is going to be a very good basketball team.
It's going to be a good year for us. I can feel it.
Yeah, I believe so too.
So you guys going to watch the Grizzlies on League Pass this year?
Of course, man. Well, I actually watch the games for free on Fox Sports 1 because I live in the area.
Well, that's cool. It's always nice when you get the local connection.
Now, I know you may have like a little busy to schedule, but if you can watch the game, you do, right? You try to tune in every night?
Of course.
Yeah. So we got
All the time.
we got a diehard over here. Nick, I'm going to tune in because I love defense too. I want to see them open it up a little bit more, but I know we do the national TV test, and this is 10, 11, 12. They're not a crazy popular team as far as like the average fan kind of wants to see a little bit more offense, but they do have their games on ESPN. They have a few. And but once those ABC Sunday games, they don't really have many of those, but the TNT and ESPN crew puts them on a decent amount.
Yeah, I'll probably catch a decent chunk of Grizzlies games, mostly for FanDuel purposes. None of the players like really stick out to me. I'll probably keep an eye and see how Parsons and Conley get back from injury.
Yeah.
And I want to see if Gasol can get back to that elite level. But for the most part, I'll be flicking them on and off.
Well, you gotta watch to see if the Knicks can beat them on opening night.
Very true. I'll root for your Grizzlies definitely for
sure.
Yeah,
I know you will.
We're gonna stomp the Knicks the first night. I'm calling it.
Well, I'm not a Knicks fan anymore. Listen, you'll beat Minnesota down at home that first night.
Yeah.
And then I think you got I look at early in the schedule. You got the Knicks, Washington, Minnesota, New Orleans. That you don't really have a game that's gonna interest me until you play the Clippers in Portland. The Friday Sunday action.
Yeah.
In early November. So this is a team that has some very winnable games. Probably get off to a good start.
Of course. Hopefully we do.
Yeah. Stay healthy.
All right, that wraps it up. It looks like Muhammad lost connection, so me and Harris will finish this one out. We're on to the truth. Our emoji, what is it today, Harris?
We're going to do the muscle flexing. This is a team that plays very physical. The guy that, puts his arm out with the bicep. We know Tony Allen, Randolph, Gasol. They call their home the grind house for a reason. So we expect a lot of defense from this team, a lot of physicality. It's tough to go in there and win games, crowd noise, and all that stuff. So we're going to call this one, for the truth, we're going to call it the arm flexing. And we're going to think that the Memphis Grizzlies are going to flex on their opponents defensively this season.
Yeah, they need to be tough. They need to get that physicality about also opening up the offense. But they got those deep playoff runs because they played hard. And they scared the Warriors a few years ago. And that was mostly because of the physicality they had on staff and the guards over there.
Yep.
But that wraps it up for the Grizz. Great episode. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Thanks for all the feedback. Catch you next time.
Yeah, appreciate the support. Thank you to Muhammad for coming on. That was a lot of fun. And again, continue all the support on OTG that we're getting throughout this preview series. We're really excited for the NBA season, and a lot of great stuff going on. A lot of great pieces, a lot of great new writers. So again, Nick, appreciate this, and hopefully continue to move forward onto the 8th rated team.
Yes, sir.
Have a good night, guys.